here, and today I am here to do another review for you guys because I hadn't done a review in a very long time, and I finally watched a movie to review, so finally doing that. Today's video that I am going to be reviewing is Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. This was a sequel to the original Jumanji, and personally, I feel like it did a very good job. Now, there will be spoilers, just to forewarn you. If you don't want to see them, you don't have to watch the video. It's perfectly fine. Other than that, let's dive right in. So the story starts out with these four teens in high school. You know, you've got kind of the stereotypical teenagers that you see in most movies. You've got the nerdy kid that plays video games, the shy girl, the girl that's always on her phone, the jock. It's kind of, I guess you could say, just stereotyped, but at the same time they did a good job of making them feel somewhat fresh. And then all four of them, who are friends per se, end up discovering this video game called Jumanji. And the reason why it's a video game now is because the game actually has this sentience that allowed it to change from a regular board game to a digital video game, which is, I think, really cool because it allows this to speak out to a more modern audience. So the four teens find this video game and they get sucked into it and become the avatars of which they chose. They have to worry about losing their lives, about keeping their health up, focusing on their strengths and weaknesses, and making sure that they all stay together as a group. It's a very good, not exactly horror story, it's just a good like survival comedy movie. The characters were by far, like, it was just so much fun to watch. We see that Dwayne Johnson is like this super nerd, like the kid that's super nerdy ends up becoming Dwayne Johnson. It's just hilarious to see Dwayne Johnson act like a total nerd. And personally, I feel like somewhat he actually is a nerd, but it's just funny to see him just like so surprised at how buff he is and everything. It's just hilarious to me. Kevin Hart is the jock that becomes a zoologist, and it's so funny that this jock that isn't normally like academically smart, like doesn't have a whole lot of academic credit, ends up becoming a very smart and civilized man who understands most animals in this new world. It's just hilarious to watch how he's so surprised with how smart he actually is. The girl becomes, I forgot the name of the character, she becomes a completely incredible martial artist, and the fact that she addresses the fact that she needs to cover herself up, even though like she's just, I just think it's funny that she's asking herself why she's wearing short shorts, even though like it's how she was designed and everything. It's just hilarious to watch. And she actually does end up falling in love with The Rock, and it gets kind of weird and cringy at that point, but it's still funny because it's just, you're not used to seeing these characters, like these super tough looking characters act so vulnerable and stuff, so it's just really funny. And then finally there's Jack Black, who is the body that the stereotypical "where's my phone" kind of girl ends up possessing, I guess you could say. And Jack Black held by far the most comedic moments in this movie. Most of them felt like ad-libbed or just him just going all out, and it was so funny because he was just embracing this role of him being a 16-year-old girl. It's just honestly, just seeing how he reacts, it was just by far like one of the most hilarious things I've seen in a movie to date. And there was actually one more character. Nick Jonas actually plays a kid that ended up in the game before the events of the main story. And it's honestly, I feel like a good homage to the original Jumanji, like a character that has experienced this kind of game before and has learned to survive and just experience all of this. It's just really good. I will say that unlike that they did actually pay homage to Robin Williams in this, except it wasn't really in the way that I wanted it to be. The way that I would have preferred is that if they had like a little end card saying like in memory of Robin Williams, blah, blah, blah. But they didn't because I don't know why, but they did pay homage to him by like showing the character that he was in the original Jumanji and how he had grown through this. It was a very good thing that they added because it reminded you so much of Robin Williams and the fact that he was like, this was one of his biggest and what some people would say one of his best roles. I personally I like the fact that they paid homage to Robin. What else is there? I gotta say that the animation and the cinematography in this world actually worked out really well. You could kind of tell that it was supposed to look, you know, like just fake, but at the same time, it's a video game, so of course you would be able to tell that things are CG. So I think that kind of lends itself to the fact that it's got that kind of animated reality to it. Like the fact that it's not all lifelike, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. But like the animation and stuff was really good and worked really well. There was the action scenes. The action scenes actually worked out really well at having the intensity that was needed, and yet they still added little slips of comedy in there every so often that I just thought were really fun. There was the villain in there, and I gotta be honest, the villain was the creepiest thing I've seen in the movie in a long time. Like, honestly, I haven't seen a lot of good movie villains lately, and I wish that there were more movie villains in like animated movies and stuff. But this guy was so creepy. Like, you'd see like a centipede coming out of his mouth and then crawling back in through his ear. And just I gotta say, one of the best things they did though was emulating how it felt like an old style video game. It literally felt like the kind of atmosphere and the way that the characters behaved actually felt like an old school, like early PS4 like video game, like an old survival kind of thing. Like it felt like an old Far Cry game or something like that. You know, like how you kind of like supply things and survive and all this stuff, and it's just really well done. I personally thought that they did a good job at not over-exaggerating the video game world, then making it make a whole lot of sense. Because like in a video game, the characters only have certain lines, or they only say one thing all the time, and just hearing it over and over and over just proves that these characters just live in a loop, and it's not like they can actually interact with you the way that normal people can interact. It was very well thought out. It was just a very good movie, very good pace. To me, it had very good pacing. I mean, some scenes they just kind of felt like bogged down or weird. Really, to me, they felt like they fleshed out all the characters that you needed to be fleshed out. Like they all felt like they had a purpose. They had growth to them. It just felt really well done. And they could have done much for the homage of the old school Jumanji, but at the same time, I liked the fact that they refreshed it and they didn't drag it too far down with things that had happened in the past and don't really affect the story at this point. Overall, I would give this movie a solid 9 out of 10. I would certainly watch it again. I would buy it on Blu-ray. I suggest that you guys see it because it is a very good film, very funny, and I'm sure that you guys would enjoy it. But yeah, that's all I've got for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. I will see you next time. Till then, peace out.